Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to Animation Fascination. I'm Marc Vibbert, and with me again, as always, is Stanford Clark.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good, my friend. Pretty good. How are you?
Good. Good to see you. I'm so glad we get to chat today.
Talked a little bit earlier this week on a different show.
Yeah.
For Holopod. But for this podcast focuses on the world of animation. In each episode, we feature all the latest news from around the animation industry and a main topic discussing a TV series, film, or something else, whether it's traditionally hand-drawn, computer-generated, or stop motion. If it is animated, it is up for discussion for us to geek out about. So, this week, we are talking about D23 Expo 2024. But before we dive into that main topic, our recommendations this week, I just wanted to give a quick recommendation to everyone that if you haven't yet, and while you can, to go check out Leica's 15th anniversary, 3D remaster of Coraline, their first film, based on the Neil Gaiman story, directed by Henry Selick, who we all love from James and the Giant Peach, and did some other movie
other small movie like what?
I think Haunted Mansion gets like an overlay.
Yeah, that's kind of like about a bad dream or something.
Yeah. I think it usually takes place between two different holidays.
Right.
There's a dude named Jack. There's a lady named Sally.
Sally.
I don't remember what it's called, but anyways, what's your go definitely check that out. It's got like a kind of brief teaser, title treatment teaser for Wildwood, which is kind of cool. And because it's like all the title is made out of different like wooden branches and stuff that different artists from Leica put together for that. So definitely recommend checking that out.
Mark, I'm going to second that for my recommendation because I'm hoping to check it out this weekend. But I've just been so happy. I mean, I'm so happy that you got to go, and then I've been just reading that it's been killing it.
Yeah, it made like 20 million.
Yes, which I thought was so fantastic. Just shows how beloved the film is, and I think they had some smart marketing and and really cool. So yeah. Any chance you can see an animated classic back on the big screen, holy smokes, just do it.
There's my original ticket stub from 15 years ago.
Nice, Mark.
When I saw it in the chroma, what is it? The green and cyan. Yeah. What was this? February 12th, 2009.
So cool.
It was the day after my dad's birthday in 2009.
And I love that.
Yeah, good way to celebrate Abe Lincoln's birthday. Just go see
Coraline. Go see Coraline.
Good way to
feel good.
the day I was supposed to be born, I was supposed to be February 12th.
Oh yeah, okay.
But I would definitely. Now, I hope too. What sticks around with that is that because like the past few Leica films, this is meant to be short, but that the past few Leica films that have come out, it feels like the studio's like always kind of like in danger of not doing well financially. So I'm glad because they had to go like Coraline, Paranorman, Box Trolls, Kubo. Those are all focus features with Universal, but then Missing Link was 20th Century Fox. We know Fox doesn't exist anymore. And I don't really think that Disney is gonna.
Yeah, they're not gonna.
We saw that the only time they use the words blue sky nowadays are at D23.
Yeah, but talking about a completely different thing.
Yeah, so I don't think any Leica films are going to be released by 20th Century Studios in the near future, and that's also probably why Missing Link probably won't get a cool steelbook like the other four did, unless G-Kids kind of maybe they grabbed the rights to it like they did, like with the Ghibli films and with those first four. So
yeah,
maybe eventually, because I'd like all of them to look nice and uniform there on the shelf.
Yes, absolutely.
So D23, how was your D23 visit? I know we talked very specifically about Lucasfilm and Star Wars on Holo, but as a more general Disney umbrella, how was everything there for that?
So, Mark, I had a really great time at this D23. So I haven't been to the last couple because the last one that I had gone to, I think it was in 2019. I think it might have been the 2017 one, but Mark, it was such a mess. It was just an absolute disaster, and I had the worst time. It was so I mean, you'd expect crowds, right? But Disney just did not have their act together. They didn't have any of this crowd management. And the thing that really sucked was the big panels that you want to go to at D23, for me, are any of the movie ones, right? They used to separate it. They had a live action movie one and then an animation one. They didn't do that this year, but I'll get to that in just a bit. And then
but now that they do live action remakes of animated movies.
That's right. That's all they do. And then they have this theme park one where they're making all the theme park announcements, right? And the lines to get into those presentations were just hellish, and you'd have to wait. Sometimes they would open up the line like at 10 p.m. the night before, and then the presentations would be in the morning, like at 10 or 11 or something. But anyway, I never waited overnight, but sometimes I would get there like at 4 a.m., to try to get a spot. And then it wouldn't guarantee that you were going to even get in the hall, right? So it sucked. It was just a nightmare. This year, the crowds were huge. I mean, I heard that there were like 70,000 people, but they just had like the ingress just down. This is the way they did it. I was so impressed. And then the biggest change, why I decided to go, or at least attempt to get a ticket, because I know everybody who wanted to go tried to get a ticket couldn't necessarily get a ticket. I feel like I just lucked out, So maybe that's also I don't know if I want to go back again just because this was such a good experience and I lucked out, trying to just get a ticket. But Disney rented out the Honda Center, which is a couple miles, down the road from there it is, from the Anaheim Convention Center and the Disneyland Resort, where the Anaheim Ducks represent, right? That made all the difference to me, Mark, because you got a reserved seat, and it was your same seat for all three of the presentations. They did a big presentation all 3 nights, and they opened up the doors like an hour, hour and a half before. No standby line, so if you didn't have a ticket, you just weren't getting in, and so the only line was getting through the security check, which wasn't that bad, they had a lot of staff there and a lot of doors open, and it was fantastic. I thought Disney did such a good job. It went from just like a horrible time to like a really great time. So horrible time, when years passed, and then this one just was fantastic, and all the stuff I saw was great. I think the only challenge, Mark, but it's just indicative of any con, is that you just have to make choices, And
you can't go to see everything.
I want to see everything, but you can't. It's just unrealistic. Of course, you have to split yourself into like 5, multiplicity style, right?
Oh yeah.
But still, the stuff I picked, I got into everything, all the panels that I wanted to see there in the convention center, and I also saw some really cool stuff on the convention center floor, and had a really good time. One of my regrets is that I didn't get to say hello to Marco in the Pizza Planet truck. I mean, truly, I saw the truck, but I didn't get to say hello. Yeah, see, awesome. But I just didn't get to. Go
to his website.
Yes,
go to the
pizzaplanetruck.com.
Or go way back in our backlog of episodes and listen to the Pizza Planet Truck episode. It was like Marco, Tyler, Sarah. It was like all of like the original Pizza Planet Truck crew.
Yeah,
was in that episode. So that's been, and like if people are fans of Pizza Planet Truck 2, they're probably fans of Random Land, which there you go.
Yes.
Which, because Marco is friends with Justin, that does that. Tyler's also
that dude that runs the Random Land site. Yeah.
Tyler's also known as Fake Tyler over there at Random Land, or this time of the year is Spoopy Tyler.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's so funny. So Mark, I just wanted to just really just give a shout out to the Walt Disney Company and to the D23 team. I thought they nailed D23 this year. I can't say that about years past, but this year I was so impressed. I think they had a lot at stake. I mean, Disney's really, in kind of a, definitely a restructuring or rebuilding mode. And I think clearly I think that you could just tell it was very important to them. They wanted to do something good, cool for the fans. And I feel that they did. But then also, I also feel like I just lucked out. I lucked out. I got a ticket. I got a Honda Center ticket. I got all the panels I wanted to go to. I got in. So I wouldn't be surprised if there are other people who didn't.
Oh yeah, I'm sure, because all that stuff's always hit or miss for whether you're gonna get in.
Yeah.
And like you said too, you can't go to everything, and then that's the catch-22 of when you get your own panel at a con too, is that
right?
At least
we experienced that, right? Yeah.
For me, the past 2 years, the only thing that I was bummed out about was that last year the Animation Fascination panel was the same time. And there wasn't really even that many panels that I wanted to go to last year at Fan Fusion in Phoenix. But the one that was at the same time as Animation Fascination was Grant Gustin's. And I was like, dang it. And then this year, I think Giancarlo Esposito was at the same time.
The same time as
one of the panels.
Yeah.
Either during Holdo or Animation Fascination. But
bummer.
But I mean, it is what it is. Whatever.
It is. It's just the way it rolls. But good for them that they just got great programming, right? There's just so much good stuff to choose from.
Well, I don't want there to be a really good person that's doing a big panel at the same time as one of mine, though, too, because then that means nobody's coming to.
No one's coming, right? To see the other panel, they're all Giancarlo Esposito.
I'm just glad our panels weren't at the same time as Dick Van Dyke.
Oh my gosh, Mark!
Or if I had one in years past at the same time as Stan Lee. Something like that.
Forget about it.
Then no one's coming to your panel,
right?
Or they only are because they're disappointed that they didn't get into that.
Right. I was gonna say the only people that are coming are the ones that couldn't get in. Yeah.
So this year, how we're gonna break this down is they're basically, since Disney has a huge umbrella of different things, we're gonna break it down by Walt Disney Pictures, which is like their live action section, which is mostly nowadays,
animated remakes.
Yeah. But sometimes there's different stuff. Then we also have Walt Disney Animation Studios. And then we have Pixar Animation Studios. And then we have Marvel Animation, which is it's like own, under its own banner for Marvel Studios. And then we also there's not really any Lucasfilm animation stuff coming out. I mean, technically it's CG animation there's CG animation with Mandalorian and Grogu.
Right.
There's not as much as in Andor, and there's definitely going to be some in Skeleton Crew.
But like Star Wars, the Clone Wars is the classic one, right?
Like right now though, we don't really have any.
And Star Wars Rebels
on the horizon.
Right? Yeah, they haven't announced a thing. And I guess we got that Young Jedi.
Young Jedi Adventures, the toddler oriented.
For Republic, for super young kids. Yeah.
But like outside of that, Bad Batch is done. We don't know if we're getting a volume 3 of Visions. I don't know if we're getting, we just got Tales of the Empire back in May.
Yeah.
So, but then Disney Parks and the animation related attractions and stuff.
Would you call the Lego? Would you call the Lego stuff, Mark? It's not necessarily Lucasfilm, right? I mean, I'm sure that it's a collaboration, right?
Yeah, that's like a Disney synergy umbrella of Lego, because there's a Pixar one, there's a Star Wars one.
Yeah.
Like, well, I mean, yeah, like I know what you're talking about. Like you're talking about
there's that new Lego Star Wars one coming out, which I believe is
Rebuild the Galaxy
in September, if I'm not mistaken, right? Coming to Disney Plus.
Yeah, so there's Rebuild the Galaxy for there, but then they have those Lego shorts
that are
coming out with there's like a Cars one.
Right.
But yeah, there's a few of those.
There's a few, and it seems like there was some Finding Nemo stuff in one of the. Yeah, is that something?
I think it was mostly Pixar.
Yeah, it seemed like it was all Pixar. Yeah.
Yeah, which it's weird seeing Nemo as
not
as a minifigure, but like a built.
Yes.
Lego. That's what I don't. Sometimes I don't think characters transition that well from like a minifig to like a build out.
Right.
Sometimes they're nightmare fuel. Specifically, kind of like the Grogu one that they did.
Oh yeah,
that one was weird.
Didn't look good.
Yeah. But so I guess where we can start is for the Walt Disney Pictures, and for that one, the first one I was going to do because it's the only one that's not within that wheelhouse of being a live action remake of an animated film, but it's actually a sequel to an earlier film. They announced the actual titles of this because before that it was just called Freaky Friday.
Friday 2
Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah.
But now it's Freakier Friday, which we don't really know all that much about.
I think
the sequel,
other than Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan are back, and I guess a few other cast members, right, are back from the original from that version of Freaky Friday.
Manny Jacinto is one of the new cast members in it.
Yeah.
Also, our good friend Julia Butters. She's also in the film too.
Which is
I don't know in what capacity.
Right.
But I'm glad that she got to do that. So yeah.
Me too.
So I know her and Manny Jacinto are two of the new cast members for it. And it seems like Manny Jacinto has a good relationship with Disney.
It's not his fault that his show got canned.
Yeah, but yeah, that's what I'm wondering about. I was like, that's why he just posted the heart with a still shot from the Acolyte. We'll get to that.
Yeah,
but if you want to hear us talk way more about it, then you go to Holdo. We talked a lot about that.
Yeah,
we liked Acolyte, by the way. Just not to bury the lead, that we liked Acolyte.
Yeah, exactly. One other thing too, Mark, I guess while we're just talking about new films that aren't necessarily animated, they showed some footage from Tron Ares, which is, Tron 3.
There's probably animation in that, I would have supposed.
It looks so cool. And I'll tell you just in a second where they placed it in the program, because it really helped my heart, because there was some really crappy stuff that they showed at this Disney Entertainment Showcase that, again, we're going to talk about it. But and Jeff Bridges, who's in Tron 3 or Tron Ares, was there. Jared Leto was there. It was cool. They didn't show a trailer, but they showed some clips, and I just thought it looked. I mean, I'm a real Tron nerd, but it looks so great. I'm really excited about that. Yes, just
Tron 1 and 2.
Can't get enough of Tron.
In 3D.
Oh, see? Outstanding.
This came in the mail, too. This is fine. It's an old address, so if people see that, so they can't.
Oh, see?
Yeah. The 3D for this is really cool, too. I mean, I have a passive 3D TV in the other room, which is basically, knock yourself over, but where you can use like the 3D glasses you got from the theater. So
cool.
You don't have to use those expensive glasses that you have to charge and everything. But
yeah,
what I thought was cool about that 3D, and we'll move off this. I think they probably put that on the Apple Vision Pro too, the 3D version of that. But it's one of the 3D version, at least, is the IMAX version of the film. So it changes aspect ratio as soon as you go onto the grid, and as you make the transition, like the screen widens up. But before that, before you go on the grid, anytime there's like a 3D effect, it expands over the matting at the top and bottom of the screen.
Cool.
Which I thought was cool.
That's really cool.
They did that for the IMAX 3D run of Deadpool and Wolverine, which I appreciated, where stuff would like layer over the matting, like with fire or like blood sometimes, or like claws would go over it. So I always like when they do that, because it makes it slightly a little bit more immersive.
Yeah, and it gives it like an extra bonus experience when you're seeing it in IMAX. You know, that's really cool.
I'm not too excited about Jared Leto in that, just because I'm not like a huge Jared Leto.
I'm not a huge Jared Leto fan, and so I just had to just kind of. I mean, they didn't show he was there in person, you know, but they didn't show he was behind a Tron helmet, you know, for all the footage. So maybe at one point
for the entire movie.
Maybe at one point he had taken off his helmet again, because there was a lot of stuff they were throwing at us. But anyway, I thought it looked super cool.
I'm very curious about that movie too, just because the fact that Jeff Bridges is in it, and that people have seen Tron Legacy. That's all I'll say. And that we don't know currently if the two people that were on the cover of that are in it, which seems like they should be.
It seems very logical that they should be, unless they're really taking the story in a different direction.
Yeah. Which that's why it's more confusing that Jeff Bridges is in it.
Right.
Unless this takes place in between 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And now they have de-aging technology better, so Clue doesn't look like, because maybe he's not even Flynn. Maybe he's just Clue.
Right. Exactly. And it was not clear, you know, with the clips.
Because I think he did a recent interview too, where he was like, "Yeah, Clue looked weird.
Clue didn't look right." Yeah. The I think that the footage, he was just like kind of present day Jeff Bridges. I mean, he was in some kind of a costume, you know, but it didn't look like he was touched up at all. But again,
maybe he got
I could not be remembering it perfectly.
Huh. Yeah. And both this and Freakier Friday come out in 2025. I don't see like an actual release date in 2025 for Freakier
Tron
Friday.
Has one. Oh yeah, Freaky Friday. They haven't. I don't think they've announced it. Yeah.
Hopefully, it's not just a Disney Plus thing too. I would hope.
No, it's going to theaters for sure.
Good.
They made that perfectly clear at the con too. That Freakier Friday was going into theaters. Jamie Lee Curtis was talking about that. So yeah.
But yeah, so from Tron, I was gonna say Tron Legacy, Tron Ares, and Freakier, and Freakier Friday. The next one we're gonna talk about is Mufasa: The Lion King, which they released a new trailer for that.
Yeah, and they showed a clip at the con too, 5-minute clip.
Now I didn't care about this movie at all, and then like I watched that new trailer and I was like, oh, okay, maybe I kind of like, if you were gonna make a live action, and I say that in air quotes because none of this movie is live action, Lion King movie, I'd rather they would have just made this one to begin with,
right?
If they were gonna do it at all, because what we've kind of seen is it's like a Lion King 2, Lion King 1.5 thing, because it's Rafiki telling the story of Mufasa to Simba's and Nala's daughter. So maybe if they keep doing these, maybe we'll get a photorealistic Kovu, and Marston can come back to voice Kovu in a Lion King, whatever they call that one, Lion King Hot Topic Mufasa.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's already in this and it's a surprise and like Kovu just shows up later on in it. But yeah, like the trailer, I was like, man, they're gonna make it's almost like the movie is about Mufasa, but it's like, you know, like how Maleficent was made to kind of, you know, make you
like they wanted to turn her into a sympathetic character.
Yeah, to like have you be sympathetic of her, like where like I was like, oh, am I gonna feel bad about Taka / Scar?
Yeah.
Now,
right.
I was like, he still made his choices. He did what he did. But I was like, oh, okay. Now I kind of have a tiny bit of empathy for him because I'm seeing where his story began here.
Yeah.
And I guess we'll see how it brings him and Mufasa to a place where they are by the time the Lion King began.
I'm with you on the story. I'm glad that they're doing, you know, it's somewhat original type of story, right? Even though I often get really frustrated with backstories, it's like, oh, you know, but still, to this film's credit, and you know, just one dude's observation, it looked to me like they were trying to make the CGI a little more cartoony,
expressive.
Yeah, expressive is probably is definitely a better word. Which, thank goodness, because that was one of the things that I hated. I hated the whole live action. You know, that whole CGI Lion King pissed me off beyond belief. And I think part of it too, because it was a shot for shot. It's the same movie with Beyonce. You know,
it's like Gus Van Sant's Psycho.
Yeah, and I just seemed like it just. I mean, and I know it made so much money, but oh my gosh, I hated it so much. And I think a lot of it was that these characters were absolutely expressionless, and so I'm glad that they're at least trying to make it, having a little more expression. Then also they throw in Lin-Manuel Miranda to write the songs, and he was at the con, so that was cool.
Yeah.
And they showed
he did write the music for the live action remake of Little Mermaid too.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. He
well, not by himself, but
with Alan Menken. Yeah.
Menken.
So, and he's done a lot of stuff with Disney. So that adds a little extra bit of interest for me, even though I'm just like, oh, I don't want this movie. But anyway, of course I'm going to go because I'm a slut. But movie slut. But anyway, I don't know if the reaction, if the crowd reaction.
Stanford loves.
That's right. Well, Utah.
yeah, there you go. Stanford loves Utah.
Yeah.
If anyone ever asks what that means, that's what it means.
That's right.
You could just get a shirt.
Yeah,
but it's got dots in between.
Yeah.
But then on the back, then it says what it's out.
Right.
I'm sure that'd be fine.
My family calls me the movie slut, and actually, I think one year for Christmas, my sister did make me a shirt that said slut. I mean, nice. That had, I think it said movie slut or something, but it wasn't just like you're a slut. But anyway, it's love. They do it with love.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Right.
So the next one on here is
Marc.
Is Stanford's favorite movie coming out in 2025.
Yeah, of the decade. So,
which I'll preface. Actually, I'll go after you.
Please. Yeah. Okay. Should I go then? I mean, yeah. See. This Snow White remake looks like the biggest flaming piece of crap. Now, I love Rachel Zegler. Let me just be perfectly clear. I thought her performance in Steven Spielberg's remake of West Side Story was brilliant. I think she's lovely. I think she's got a fantastic singing voice. And, there you have it. But still, this movie, like, why in the world do we need this movie? I mean, I hate these, I despise these remakes with every fiber of my being. And then to remake the movie that made the Walt Disney Studio, that truly put it on the map, makes me sick. So and then they showed a 5-minute clip of it in addition to the new trailer, which you can see online. And I hear that the footage has been, someone filmed it because they did not confiscate any phones or anything. People were filming stuff all over the place. But
that's how I saw some of the Marvel stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, Mark, the CGI, I don't know what they're going to call the dwarfs, right? They didn't say.
Because it's just called Snow White, right?
It's just called Snow White. Okay. And I think that they've been through a few iterations of this. I thought I read it even initially that there weren't even going to be any, 7 friends, or whatever, whatever.
Well, and then the thing too is that I know that they didn't hire little people to portray the characters, which I know is like a big thing. But then, I don't know. It's interesting because like even like the non-Disney, more recent like live-action Snow White films, like the Snow White and the Huntsman, and then there's like and then just the Huntsman because Kristen Stewart didn't want to come back for the other one. Like those ones, it was also a thing where it was like they didn't hire little people on it, but it was like faces placed on smaller CG bodies.
Yeah.
Where like they already have a tough enough time just getting work in general, like in just regular parts, or like parts aimed at little people too.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. That's an interesting thing that I feel like that's going to be like a thing that they have to like maneuver around and like talk around once they start going on like doing like the interview circuits for the film. And the other thing I'll say in that too, and I'm glad that you brought up that you like Rachel Zegler a lot and people do not give her crap, is that people are giving her crap. They had already been giving her crap for it. So,
well, I know she got a lot of criticism from those interviews she did at like the last D23, where she and Gal Gadot were both just kind of touting the more feminist, nature of this, version of the story, and
which
Snow
White, to be fair,
yeah, but like the thing is though. They do that, but they did that with the Little Mermaid. They did that with Aladdin. These live action remakes. In that, they say, "Oh, this is a superior interpretation of this, of this story, of these, or a superior interpretation of this character. Like the character in the original is really flawed, and we're like, we fixed it." And I think, no, you didn't.
Say that it is,
yeah. And
it's
so,
like a book adaptation isn't the book you read. The book is still the book, but then the book adaptation is its own thing. Like,
and so I'm not expecting it to go back to some kind of, to an old fashioned type of value, or whatever, but I just get so mad because I feel like they completely disrespect the original. That's the thing that really irks me. So this year though, Gal Gadot and Rachel Zegler came out on the stage. I don't know what they said to the press, before or after, but on stage, they were so well scripted. Rachel Zegler just said, "This is Snow White is the most iconic Disney princess. I'm so honored to play her." And then both of them, they just said, and they worked so hard. We were so excited for you to see this film, and that's like basically all they said. Nothing about, we've changed the story, or Snow White don't need no man. It's just any of that stuff. It was, but then they showed the 5-minute clip. They showed the whistle while you work sequence.
Yeah.
And the little men look so crappy, Mark. I mean, you can kind of see it in the trailer.
Well, because they just look like photorealistic versions of what they look like in the animated movie.
And they look and they just look horrible. They just giving them like this horrible complexions and just horrible features, and I just hate it.
Why not just like hire the cast of Willow?
Yeah.
I mean, not all. I mean, you could get all the Tony Revolori could get in there somewhere probably. And just make it a crossover with Willow.
Yeah,
it probably fits in the same world.
And I know we're going to get to it with our, the next one we're talking about, but at least this next film, like the CGI character that they showed, looks good. It looks good, Whereas this thing, so I hate to be so negative. I try to be a positive person and try to see both sides, but oh my gosh, this thing is just I mean, I'll go again because I'm a slut, but I just can't tell you how angry I am about this project. I think it's just the biggest piece of crap. I can't even believe Disney's doing that. I mean, I can because that's just what they do now.
Well, because they keep making money on them, so it's,
right, exactly.
It's
I mean,
decision, so.
they're cash cows. But I mean, I just think it's so unfortunate. It's not so unfortunate.
We'll talk about stuff he's doing later on, and even a sequel to a thing that's getting a live action remake. But like Josh Gad made a joke. I think he's like, hopefully we finish Frozen 4 before they make a live action remake.
Before they make a live action remake
of it.
That was so perfect.
Which I joked with somebody else that works there about that. I don't want to get them in trouble, but yeah, it's like we're reaching the singularity where you make the animated film and the live action film at the same exact time.
Yeah,
that'd be kind of an interesting experiment. But then it would be the thing with like the Favreau Lion King where it's just a shot for shot.
Yeah.
So you make two different films, one live action, one animated, from the same script, make them at the same time, release them the same day. Be very confusing. Whenever someone buys a ticket, they don't know if they're going into the animated film.
Yeah,
it's like when Clue came out in theaters, you didn't know what ending you were gonna get.
You don't know which ending you were gonna get.
You buy the ticket and you walk in, you're like, all right. You watch 22 minutes of previews at AMC. You sit in there and say, heartbreak feels good in a place like this. And then you're like, am I going to see live action?
Right.
Or see animation?
Like animation. And I guess too, Mark, I love the Disney studio, but I really love Walt Disney Animation Studios. And I just feel like, and again, it's the heart and soul of that company, or that film, at least the filmmaking business. And that they disrespect it in the way they do is just disgusting.
Well, it's almost this era's like during like the straight to VHS, straight to home sequels
those cheapquels,
like, during the Eisner era,
those were frustrating too.
It's basically, I mean, the credit I will give to those is that they are continuations of the story. They're not
not a remake
thing.
Yeah.
Whereas, and that's, I know it's like kind of a low bar to set, but that's where I'll give a lot of the ones that they've done like this credit, where they're not just that, where they like have like their own point of view, their own twists and turns to how they're adapting the story. And it's not just, oh, you remember this, you remember that, you remember this,
right?
Here they are again. But in this story, where like that Little Mermaid that came out recently, I liked a lot of the little flips and twists that they did. There's obviously there's a lot of very similar things, lots of all the songs that were already there that people loved in the original animated Disney version of it. But then you have like even the Beauty and the Beast one there where they twist, in that one I liked how it explained a little bit more of like there's like essentially like a time vortex thing within the spell, which is why that because that was the thing that helped me, where it was like, because there's a line that Lumiere says left for 10 years. I was like, wait, was the Beast 8 years old when
when this happened?
Yeah, I was like, how are you expecting a kid that was 8 years old to, like, he's 8 years old. All 8-year-old kids act like that.
Yeah, I like to have compassion. Yeah.
Well, and I think I sent you this, but it shows in general how many of the it's not flipping out. How many of the live action continuation remakes, reimaginings of the films they've made now? Because I sent you this.
Yes, you did.
Where it's all the live action Disney princesses.
Yeah.
So you got Mulan, you got Aurora, you got Cinderella, you got Jasmine, Belle, and Ariel, and then you got Snow White now there.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. some of them have been better than others, but and like you said, so yeah, and I'm a big fan of Rachel Zegler too. They just released a trailer for a film.
Yeah, that
she's
kind of horror film that she's going to be in.
Y2K that comes out.
Yeah, which again, I like her. I liked her in that Hunger Games prequel.
Oh yeah, she was.
You know,
and then cool. If anyone ever looks up her YouTube channel, like
her
videos from like years ago, she has a bunch of like just
she's singing in her bathroom or something, right?
Yeah, where she's like, and then she's like doing covers of like Taylor Swift songs. And
my gosh, so good! I remember watching those before I saw West Side Story, just because I was just curious about her. You know, like who's this woman that Steven Spielberg hired? And oh my gosh!
Oh yeah, and I almost wonder if she got cast for West Side Story based off of. Well, I mean, I'm not sure. Probably not purely off of that, but probably maybe partly off of that. With just this is good. She's pretty good. And then, big fan of Rachel Zegler. That's how we'll close out talking about Snow White.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry she is in this piece of crap film. However, then right after Snow White, and I was just,
maybe it'll be good. We don't know.
I was
it could be good.
I was booing, and
that was me after the Craven the Hunter trailer the other night.
Then they went right into Tron Ares and like, oh, bad feelings gone. I was able to be happy again because the Tron stuff was so cool.
Nice. And then, like you kind of hinted at it earlier, but the next one was they showed like a teaser reveal
trailer, reveal of Stitch,
or at least what I saw that was posted online was just like Chris, coming out as Stitch, which it seems like it shouldn't be hard to mess that up. But they could have easily messed it up. It could have, been like Ugly Sonic.
Exactly.
It's basically the character design from animation because he's still animated.
Yeah.
But it's a good,
it's really good.
He looks like
CGI.
He's freaking toned as heck in his arms.
That's right. Those arms are strong.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, like in the animated film, I thought like Stitch came off a little bit more like chubby, but like here he looks like he's got some ripped arms.
The one bit of news that was new to me with this reveal, with talking about Stitch, and it was brief, but that it's going into theaters. I thought that it was initially slotted, for Disney Plus, but they're putting it in theaters next summer.
That's good to hear. And then it's Chris Sanders returning as the voice.
Which is cool.
He's busy doing live action.
Oh my gosh! How to Train Your Dragon, and
he was in. Yeah, because DreamWorks is getting in on the live action remakes of the animated films that they had that were popular.
Didn't he direct to that new DreamWorks? Is it the Wild Robot DreamWorks film? I think. I think that film looks really cool. But we'll talk. We can talk about that one in another episode. Or is that a Dean?
Yeah, I think Dean DeBlois is How to Train Your Dragon. I'm mixing things up there.
Oh, you're right. Dean DeBlois is doing the live action How to Train Your Dragon, right?
And he also did the animated. But what'll be interesting is maybe we'll get the original version of the ending of Lilo and Stitch, where the airplane is going through a downtown Hawaiian city. Because I remember. People can look that up. You can see like the original version of the animated scene that they had to change out after September 11th in 2001.
9/11, yeah.
And people have noticed other things too, or like Lilo when she goes in the dryer. It's now like some like weird cabinet. I think they remade that so that kids don't climb in a dryer.
Don't try to do that. Yeah.
Kids don't climb in a dryer. Also, if you're a little kid and you're listening to this podcast, it's thank you, I guess, but it's probably more fun stuff to do as a little kid than to listen to a podcast. And then it's Maya Kiloa as Lilo. I don't know if we've seen.
No, they didn't at the con. If she was in that clip, I didn't see it. I mean, again, they were throwing a lot of stuff at us, but I don't recall seeing it.
Oh yeah, if you Google her.
Aren't there
Yeah, she looks like she could be Lilo.
Yeah, weren't there some like set shots or something that are online or something? I can't remember.
Oh, probably. I thought because they had like a set stand-in for Stitch that I remember people saw, and it looks pretty much like this.
Yeah.
Which was interesting. Oh yeah, because it's like she's like driving like what looks like a Power Wheels.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's where like Stitch was in that at one point. Yeah, yeah, she's a good Lilo in that, and then I'm almost surprised Manny Jacinto wasn't in this too. Yeah, but the rest of
the time for reshoots.
Yeah, well, I mean that could also just be because that he's
yeah.
Filipino, not like Western Pacific.
Yeah.
Well, I mean Filipino is Western Pacific, but you know what I mean, like not Hawaiian. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But yeah, Zach Galifianakis is Pleakley. That's good casting. Yeah, it looks like it'll be. I'll be curious to see like when we get like an actual like full
like an actual trailer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe in Mufasa they'll have one.
Maybe. But then kind of going from here, staying in the South Pacific. They released a new trailer for Moana 2.
Yeah.
Which it looks pretty good.
Yeah, Moana 2 actually looked really surprisingly good. They had Ali Cravalho there, and she sang one of the new songs from the show, which is not written by the songs are not written by Lin-Manuel Miranda this round.
Yeah,
and then The Rock was there, of course, too. Yeah,
because I think what happened with Moana 2 is, from what we can piece together, is that this was because they had announced the Moana the animated series for Disney Plus
right
a couple of years back, probably at the last D23. And in that time, it seemed like they really liked what they saw. And then instead of releasing it as I think it was like a 4.
Yeah, it was like a 4-part miniseries, right?
Or miniseries. Yeah. They trimmed it down and then
made it into a movie.
Yeah, so like I know that like the animation animators at Walt Disney Animation Studios, they've been working.
It's been all hands on deck, right? With it, and I think all this originated up in the Vancouver studio. For Walt Disney Animation
so I think
where they're doing this Disney Plus stuff.
Yeah, so that's interesting too. So, because I wonder if like they had to they probably had to re-render a lot of scenes in it with now that it was going to be like a theatrical release, to, like up kind of like how good the animation appeared to the eye.
Yeah.
And then because of that too, because I know some animators have just wrapped on it just within the past week.
I've been seeing posts about it. Yeah, that animators are wrapping on it, and
so yeah, that's good because it comes out in
November. It's Thanksgiving.
Yeah, so they still got I would love if they did those like how they did for Frozen 2. If they just did those for like every Disney animated film, like how like we went into like the entire process of making.
Oh yeah, the documentaries, which are cool. Such this behind the scenes, right?
Yeah, kind of like the like the Marvel assembled. Stuff.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
Because if on this one specifically, it would be interesting. I don't know if maybe they don't want to show all of like what went into. It's like, oh, it started as this, but now it's a movie.
Yeah.
But I kind of hinted that this too is that this is coming out, but then in like a year or two from now, we have the live action
one that they're working on right now. Yeah,
that Dwayne The Rock Johnson is also
playing. Maui,
and Ali Cravalho is producing,
right? I don't think she's acting, and she's
unless she has a cameo as like, a different character.
Cameo. She's going to play the mom or something. I mean, who knows what they're going to ever do?
I don't think she's old enough to play the mom.
She's not old enough. She's not old enough. But I don't know. We'll just have to see. I thought Moana too. The clip they showed, the animation looked really beautiful. I thought so. Anyway, I initially was kind of like, hey, we don't need Moana 2. But after the awesomeness for me of Inside Out 2, I thought, maybe Moana 2 is going to be great. So, I mean, clearly different studio and stuff, but still all under, the Walt Disney Studios umbrella. And Bob Iger and team, I think, are really trying hard to bring a quality product. So I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt on this one.
And speaking of Zootopia and sequels, Zootopia 2, and also speaking of Snow White, you get the Snow White connection there?
Jennifer Goodwin with Once Upon a Time.
So we got Zootopia 2 is going to be coming out within the next few years.
It's 2020. It's 2025, Mark. If I'm not mistaken, it's Thanksgiving 2025. I could be wrong, but
little sneak peek of other stuff we're talking about. But Kia Kwan is going to be in that.
Yeah,
with his new budding relationship with Disney. You kind of look like Ka.
Yeah, it looks like Ka. It looks like kind of a CGI.
Which, I mean, I guess there's only so many ways you can animate a snake.
I can't remember that character's name, but anyway, that I thought looked great. They showed a clip of it, and
I think this was from the clip, right?
It looks really funny. So they're in a new neighborhood.
Is that the one where all the birds live?
It's like swamp, like kind of like underwater stuff, swamp creatures, and I think there's like a walrus and some other stuff that they showed, and also they had a photo op at the Disney Animation Pavilion there at the showroom, or at the con, and it had all kind of like these inside, like all these puns, related to this new neighborhood. Which of course I can't remember off the top of my head, but I thought Zootopia 2 looked terrific. So, and Jennifer Goodwin was there actually, and they had Jason Bateman, I think, talking as Nick Wilde, do kind of like a shout out, on the big screen.
Kia Kwan is named Gary.
Okay,
Gary the Snake.
Yeah, I could have sworn they had some kind of a last name for him, but anyway,
we should have called him
Gary.
Jake the Snake.
Jake the Snake.
For all you old wrestling fans.
Yeah.
So that looks interesting. I think weren't they adding some Zootopia stuff to the parks too?
Well, Shanghai.
I know Shanghai has.
At Disney World. So at the Animal Kingdom park, there's going to be a Zootopia movie it's going to replace the Bugs Life movie inside the Tree of Life. Yeah.
It should just be bugs. It'd be funny if it's just bugs.
Yeah.
Or it's like a bird. That would make it funny. Because, Hopper is...
Right.
Just make it like a robin or something. It's about a robin. And, like, they could make, like, a, Easter egg kind of thing. Where it's like, the robin ate all the bugs that used to be in here.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Mark, you keep giving these ideas. The people are gonna.
Well, I mean, they didn't listen to one idea that I had about a movie, but we'll get to that one in a second.
We'll get to it.
But I mean, that's kind of good, I guess, because then I should have gotten paid if they listened to that idea. But yeah, so and then the next one or two is Frozen 3 and 4. Frozen 3 is officially in the works.
Yeah, and they did
2027.
2027. Yeah.
Yeah, and they hinted
and they're making a Frozen 4.
Yeah.
What's that? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk over.
Just that they were hinting that they're making a 4.
Yeah, they Jennifer Lee strongly hinted that a number 4 is in the works too.
the concept art looks really cool too.
Yeah,
It
that
was very
concept art
reminiscent
looked
of like
really
Sleeping
cool.
Beauty.
Yeah.
So definitely look that up if you can find it. I forgot to add that to our slideshow in this one. But yeah, that one looks really cool. It'll be interesting too because of like the places that Anna and Elsa are in now after part 2. So like Elsa's like fully kind of embracing like her snow queen thing, doing her own thing over in her snow kingdom, and then Anna's the queen of Arendelle now. So we'll see what all happens from there, and then apparently enough doesn't happen in that they then do a 4 after that too. So
and even though I know it's a big cash grab because Frozen's so popular, I mean, not that I didn't hate Frozen 2 by any means. I thought it was pretty decent, but I don't nearly have the rage for like Frozen 3 and Frozen 4 as I do over those live action remakes. They don't. I mean, because I know they're going to be high quality
eventually.
Yeah,
they'll make them eventually for these. They will.
Yeah.
They were already in Once Upon a Time. Speaking of Jennifer Goodwin.
Speaking of Jennifer Goodwin, yeah.
And it was basically Frozen 2 before Frozen 2 came out.
Before it came out,
because it was like 1-for-1 for the costumes for what like Anna, Elsa, and Kristoff. Even the freaking rock trolls looked exactly the same in Once Upon a Time. Yeah, and I liked how they did that too because it repurposed the whole Snow Queen thing too, with Elsa not exactly being that, but they had Elizabeth Mitchell come in there as their aunt, as essentially like the original Ice Queen story version. So I liked how that little twist that they did with that. I mean, I guess maybe they could still maybe do that in like a third or fourth thing. I mean, like that's like their thing is like that's like the descendant thing too, because they already played around a little bit with like, why does Elsa have these powers? Why does like what's going on there? So that should be interesting. Sylvie's over here knocking stuff over.
Sylvie's just being part of the show.
Yeah. But then so that was it for Walt Disney Animation Studios. And then the next bit was for Pixar. So Pixar was there as well. Pete Docter, I think, came out there. And so the next film that we have coming from them is Elio, which is based on the 11-year-old boy named Elio Solis. And I always kind of like in stuff when, like names are, just definition, like words that are based on other words or that have like a, like a meaning to them. So like Elio is Italian for helium, which is interesting. And then Solus is sun. So I thought that was interesting, just because like it's like interesting, because like what's going on there?
Yeah.
Just because like Remus Lupin in like Harry Potter, who is a werewolf. Remus means wolf. Lupin also means wolf. So his name is Wolf, and he's a werewolf.
Cool character names for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, Elio. I know. I think it was originally supposed to come out like next month.
It was actually, I thought Marc was supposed to come out like in March of 2024 because they were showing previews.
Oh yeah, I think because they flipped around it in Inside Out.
Yeah.
2.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it was actually supposed to come out when Inside Out 2 did.
Oh, okay. So just in June.
Yeah, and then so he's mistaken as the ambassador for Earth by Intergalactic Council. And then it follows Elio as he navigates the challenges of being an unexpected leader in a diverse field with diverse alien species and complex politics. And then Zoe Saldana was announced as part of the voice cast playing Elio's aunt.
And she was in the house. Both she and Jonas Kubraev, if I'm saying it right, they were there and they came out on stage. That was cool. I think Elio looks really great.
Yeah, it looks interesting. It's coming out in spring of 20.
It's 2025.
2025.
It's next year. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that is the first original film we have coming from them. Then we have Hoppers, which.
Yeah, this was new. This was
Yeah. This one made me laugh just like seeing the concept art for it. Like there's a little bit of it here on the screen if you're watching the video version of this episode. Where it's the original film that takes a quirky and imaginative approach to storytelling. The film revolves around a young girl who has her consciousness transferred into a robotic beaver as part of an undercover operation to infiltrate the animal world. The plot unfolds as she befriends a regal beaver, voiced by Bobby Moynihan, and together they must thwart the plans for a corrupt mayor, voiced by John Hamm.
I mean, seriously, it sounds so creative. Such a great Pixar concept. I'm excited.
Yeah, this one comes out in spring of 2026.
Yeah, I think this was 2026, Mark, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So I'm glad that we have more, original stuff coming out from them too. And then we have Win or Lose.
Oh my gosh,
which is
so great.
Their first ever long form animated series.
Yeah.
And that focuses on a middle school co-ed softball team, the Pickles. Not to be confused with the family from Rugrats.
Right.
And their coach exploring the diverse perspectives and experiences of each team member leading up to their big championship game. Each episode is told from a different character's point of view, offering unique insights in a variety of animation styles.
There's different animation styles. They again just showed a teaser trailer, but I thought it looked really great. They also at the con showed they had a panel presentation where they showed the first 2 episodes, but I wasn't there. I was someplace else. One of those again where I wanted to split in 2. But I didn't talk to anybody who went to it, but I bet it was super cool.
I think Marco may have gone to that.
Oh, cool. Oh, good. Okay.
I think when he wasn't standing next to the truck. I know it comes out.
It's December, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Because
December 3rd.
Yeah, December 6th, right? It looks like.
6th. Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. Because I know that was supposed to come out maybe. I know it was supposed to come out at a different time at one point.
It seems like it's had multiple kind of I don't know if they've fully announced or committed to a release date, but it seems like over the last year, Mark, maybe we just keep hearing about it. Yeah.
And then the next thing is the Dream Studios, which takes place inside
Riley's head.
Yeah, inside Out. Inside Riley's head. So it's the show will take place in Dream Production Studios, which is responsible for creating Riley's vivid dreams every night. It's set between the events of the first and second Inside Out film. It's designed as kind of like a mockumentary, similar in style to shows like The Office and Abbott Elementary, which makes me really hope that Sadness and Joy do talking heads in it, because of the fact that Sadness was Phyllis on The Office that did the mockumentary. Well, straight up is doing a documentary in that. And then Parks and Recreation is shot in that style, but there's not the same way Modern Family doesn't ever really explain who's shooting this.
Yeah.
Whereas The Office, straight up, it's that's the documentary crew. And even Abbott Elementary is highlighted. There's the documentary crew. I like that way of it too, more than just using it as a device and then wait, so if this is a documentary, you already have that on film because that person you're talking to right now with doing a talking head they shot that because the scene you're talking about. That's
I
was like, what? So it should be cool. I like this kind of idea of them doing like this animated series for that too, and it's like another way that they can kind of play around with like narratives and story structures. It's similar to like how they were already doing, like the Spark shorts and highlighting different like forms of animation for like like Burrow or like Kit Bull and stuff like that.
Good point.
Where they can, it allows Pixar to experiment more with different forms of animation. I think there's even a claymation one that they were going to be doing, which that's exciting that they're just trying all these different forms of animation, like stop motion,
which I think was really cool. Yeah,
because maybe like Pixar in the future, even though it's the studio that kind of launched the age of CG animation that we have nowadays, it can also be like the one that kind of maybe in the end influences all of the different studios to use all the different kinds of
these different mediums,
tools and mediums that are available to you within the animation.
Yep.
Or I guess not mediums, but styles within the medium of animation.
In the medium of animation, there we go.
Yeah. Just because, like, if people have seen it too, like the Mitchells versus Machines, I think that film has every version of animation in it. There's sock puppets in there. There's CG animation. There's hand-drawn animation. There's stop motion in it. There's claymation. It literally has ticked all the various boxes off of that. So I'm happy to see Pixar kind of experiment and do that too.
Same.
And the composer for it too is Ramin Djawadi too. So if people are fans of Game of Thrones, or Westworld, this is a not TV MA.
Right. This is gonna be more of a
show that he's doing. Composed music for. That just means that it'll probably be pretty epic music for.
I wish I could report on that because I mean that was the music they were probably playing with the with the little sizzle reel they showed, but still that's exciting. I think this looks just very promising. I'm excited.
Yeah, and then Dream Productions, that I just see 2025.
Yeah, I don't recall them giving a specific date on that one.
And then so now for the sequels that we have coming from Pixar. So it was kind of already on screen, but so if you want to hear what my idea was for Toy Story 5, that was in a different episode that we did of this. You can go back and listen to that. I think it was in the Inside Out 2 episode that we did. But so Toy Story 5, Andrew Stanton is writing and directing this one,
and Andrew Stanton was there at D23, so that was cool.
Good dude, good filmmaker. John Carter, great movie, and he's a cool guy. Now the characters in Toy Story 5 are facing a new challenge, and that is how do they continue the story after Toy Story 4, where Woody had his epilogue and he kind of arced out for his story at that point. But the plot revolves around Woody, Buzz, Jesse, and the rest of the characters at least the rest of the characters that'll be in this one, dealing with how technology, specifically electronic devices like tablets and smartphones, have taken over playtime. Toys' jobs of making kids happy become increasingly difficult when they realize children are more captivated by screens than by their imaginative play. So I don't know. So my first question is, how is Woody there? This seems like Bonnie is the one that's under the blanket here. That's kind of who it looks like. Unless they're with a new kid already, but I don't know why a new kid would want would want Forky if they didn't create Forky. Because my original thought to you too is like, oh, okay, maybe this takes place in between 3 and 4. But I was like, nope, Forky's there, so that's not it.
Right.
That's gonna be my main question. I was like, why is Woody there?
Yeah. How are they gonna get the band back together again?
Yeah. And then if he's there, where's Bo Peep?
Where's Bo?
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I trust Andrew Stanton, but it's like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
I wasn't necessarily thrilled that they were going to do Toy Story 5, but I thought what a clever premise that seems very timely,
Yeah.
So
and then
I'm just ready to go with it. Yeah.
So one of the key plot elements in it too is it seems like something similar from part 2, but kind of taking full fruition is that there is an army of Buzz Lightyear toys controlled by computers posing a new threat to the existing toys. The concept art showed the toys, the one that I just showed before this, looking dejected. Well, presumably Bonnie is under the bed covers engrossed in a tablet. And then the film is directed by Andrew Stanton, co-directed by
and I believe
Jane Harris,
and I believe written by Andrew Stanton too.
Yeah. And then produced by Jessica Choi, and then it's supposed to come out in June of 2026.
Yeah. I'm excited for it, Mark. I thought it just sounded great.
I liked my idea better. Because it gives you the sad Pixar movie that you can do. You can still include Woody, but it's like a because Woody is basically your main character of Toy Story, so and everyone else is a supporting character to Woody. That's why it feels weird that like to do 5 when like his arc is over after part 4, like because 3 is a perfect ending to that trilogy for Andy's story with these toys, and then 4 is a good epilogue, like finishing of the arc for Woody in there. So that's why I'm cautiously optimistic about 5, just because I trust Andrew Stanton wholeheartedly, but just based off of what we know so far for this one, like if he wasn't doing it, like I think this might be the first time that I wasn't like fully on board, or like, yeah, I have to see that. I mean, I'd go see it anyways because I love Pixar, but like it would be the first time that I'd be like, But I mean, we said the same thing about Toy Story 4, but I don't know. I'm very conflicted about this. Yeah. The other one is Incredibles 3,
and the crowd went crazy when when Pete Docter threw that out. That this was in development, which
Brad Bird,
super fun,
writing and directing, coming back for that one.
Yeah,
like Incredibles feels like the only kind of story that they can just kind of like keep
going. Yeah.
Like whereas Toy Story 5 feels weird, I feel like Incredibles 6 or 7 doesn't feel out of the realm. Like because that I feel like that world lends itself more to doing
just to kind of have sequel after sequel. Yeah.
yeah. I don't know. And that they didn't really say anything about plot or
they said
story.
0. Yeah, they're like nothing other than
I don't think there was even a release date.
No, oh no, nope. Just
we're making
they put the logo on the screen and said we're working on this.
I'm assuming kind of how Pixar sequel films generally go. Well, at least like so like the first film will have like a centered character, and then the second film will have a different centered character to that. So like Incredibles 1 was Bob, Incredibles 2 was Helen. So it feels almost like maybe maybe not just one of the kids, but maybe it'll center on all three of the kids.
On the kids, yeah.
And I wonder, I kind of hope that they age Jack up a tiny bit, like to have it been like he doesn't have to be a baby still, like, because then I think it would be cooler, like if he's actually able to like have conversations with Violet and Dash.
Yeah,
maybe they're a little bit older too, because I think that could be interesting. Because maybe that's the story in part 3. It's like Bob and Helen dealing with their kids growing up and like wanting because they've already dealt with like wanting to protect them and stuff in the other ones, but like, as they're getting older to a point where they have to let them do stuff more often on their own and like let them learn different things, but then like how that then interplays in with them also, having superpowers.
Yeah.
I don't know. See, I keep thinking of these story ideas for Pixar sequels that I want to see. I don't know. Pixar.
We love Pixar. That's right. Give Marc a call.
But yeah, I'm excited for all those. I'm glad there's like a good mix of both originals on the horizon from them as well as
they've got sequels. I just think a really good balance. Just, what it seems to me. Yeah,
because it feels like a little bit with like how Wish was kind of received. It's that Walt Disney Animation Studios is kind of doing a thing that kind of Marvel is doing too, where it's which is a good segue for where we're about to go next, is where it's kind of going slightly back to basics a little bit to kind of regroup your audience, and not necessarily that they've done like anything bad. Like I liked Wish. Maybe it's not like you're not going to rate it on like a classics tier, but it's not Home on the Range.
Well, I think you liked it better than I did. I thought Wish was horrible.
Did you like Home on the Range more?
Oh no! Well,
like I said,
however,
Home on the Range had Roseanne in it. Remember?
Oh my gosh! I mean, Home on the Range is just horrible. But Wish, though, I think what was so disappointing for me about Wish was that it was the film celebrating the 100th anniversary of the studio, and that they had touted that so much, and then also I just felt they were so focused on putting Easter eggs in it that they just kind of forgot everything else and how the song through. I thought the music was terrible. So anyway, I hear what you're saying. I don't think it's necessarily worse than Wish, but I mean worse than Home on the Range. But anyway, lousy film from me. So we see it differently. But yeah,
I will say the more often you listen to the Wish soundtrack, the better the songs get.
Oh, good. Oh, that's good.
Over and over. Because I've added a few of them in my playlist, and the more often I hear them, I was like, "Oh man, this
okay."
Like the beat of the song. All right, here we go.
Yeah.
There was like the Knowing What I Know Now. That one gets you pumped up.
That's a bop or whatever the kids say.
Yeah, that's what the kids call a banger.
A banger. Yeah.
It has what the kids call the Riz.
Yes.
I'm gonna stop before I embarrass my son. Which probably already done that. But speaking of Marvel Animation, the Marvel Studios now has their own like animation flag, banner, call it what you will, that their animated properties are under. So we have. So you and I and a bunch of friends did a coverage, which was pretty fun, of one per day over the course of a week for our What If season 2.
That was so much
back
fun
during the holiday season of last year. So, and then like after that came out, they released a teaser for like a scene from season 3, like
the
day after, which I'm I'm assuming it's just an episode that was supposed to be in season 2, and got moved to season 3, similar to the episode with Tony on Sakaar that was in season 2 that was originally a season 1 episode.
Yeah.
Which I'm assuming that's what happened with this Red Guardian Winter Soldier episode. That was the clip we saw. But season 3 was announced. It'll be coming out, I think they said this year. I think that's set to be its final season, which is interesting too, because the Watcher even says in a universe of infinite possibilities, it seems weird to end a show at season 3 that of infinite possibilities. Literally, you can do infinite possibilities of things.
Yeah.
So, I mean, because they can always come back to it too. Maybe it's just that they end this kind of arc that they're doing with Uatu and seemingly Captain Carter. Because she kind of like, she's not in all the episodes, but she's kind of like a central character of the series so far. I don't think I'm not seeing a season like a release date for season 3. Other than I'm just gonna assume that it comes out either late this year again, because otherwise, why show that trailer at the end of last year and just be like, well, we'll see you in 2020
something. Yeah.
But like season 3 is gonna have that Red Guardian, Bucky Barnes episode. We know that there's that one that had the Bill Foster and Ranger Morales, which I think is supposed to be Miles Morales' mom, in that teaser we got. And then there's an anime-inspired episode featuring the Avengers piloting mechs to fight a horde of mega Hulk monsters titled Go Avengers, Heroes of the Gamma War, which is kind of done to be like a Voltron, Power Rangers, Pacific Rim esque, which that seems like it'll be fun. Which is going to have Sam Wilson, Captain America, Black Widow, Red Guardian. We got Red Guardian in a lot of these ones.
Yeah, Red Guardian's busy.
Because you got Shang-Chi, Monica Rambeau, and Moon Knight, so that should be interesting. And then there's an episode with Agatha Harkness with the musical number. So, that's always fun with Agatha getting a musical number. And I know there's supposed to be some other stuff in there too. I think we're supposed to get like more Shang-Chi in that season. There's supposed to be some Miss Marvel in there. I believe, yeah. It's good to see that like some of the characters that showed up in like their own live action Marvel shows are going to be showing up in this last season too.
Yeah.
Season 3 as well. I'm hoping maybe we see She-Hulk in there too.
Yeah.
Because there's plenty of possibilities of what they could do. And then I'll be interesting, since they know it's a final season of this, like how they choose to like wrap it up, but it's not really like wrapped up per se. It's just kind of like closing a chapter. Because I have to presume, like we already saw live action Captain Carter and Multiverse of Madness. I have to presume that we see Haley Atwell show up in Secret Wars or Doomsday or something like that.
Yes.
Captain Carter again. I'm pretty sure we'll probably see Kahorti. In live action, because what's her name? She was in Echo as well, playing a different character.
The same actress.
But I'm assuming she'll come in as Kahorti in live action, as well too. And then, it would be cool to see Uatu. I mean, we've already seen the Watchers in live action, the CG animated, like in the Guardians, like because Stan Lee was a Watcher, just in a Stan Lee
cameo,
which made a perfect example of why he would be in every single one of those Marvel movies, looking like that, because he's just a Watcher and he's watching stuff.
Exactly.
Which I thought that was great that he ended up being a Watcher, but I think it'd be cool too to see Jeffrey Wright's Uatu show up in like Doomsday or Secret Wars or one or the other, and that should be interesting. And then outside of that, there's the spin-off, which is Marvel Zombies, which is a sequel to the What If Zombie episode. That's going to have 4 episodes. It'll be rated TVMA. It's going to have characters like Wenwu and Death Dealer from Shang-Chi. I believe Jimmy Woo is also in there. I remember seeing concept art that had him in it. Miss Marvel is in there.
I was bummed. I was at other stuff. I couldn't go to any. I mean, I picked other things, over the Marvel animation panels, and I was a bummer because again, I just wanted to split too. Be able to.
Oh yeah. That looks really cool though. Like I'm interested to see what they do more with this too. That like they hinted more at stuff that's gonna be in that, and it's interesting that it will just be like it'll be a 4-episode thing, so it's not gonna be like that feels right too. Like to not make it be
it does. It does feel right.
It kind of 4 episodes makes it just feel like it's an animated Marvel Zombies film.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they kind of teased X-Men 97 season 2 amid. We won't go into the Beau DeMayo.
All the Beau DeMayo stuff.
If you want to look up that, there's a good New Rockstars video that really breaks it down.
Yeah.
But they showed some like costume stuff for season 2 that looked pretty cool.
It looks cool.
It looks like a good, like moving on to this next chapter of the story there. And then the other thing was, it was originally called Spider-Man Freshman Year. It's since then been retitled to Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which I really like the animation style to this too.
I do too.
Where it feels like it's just an animated version of like a 1960s comic.
1960s comic. Yeah, I love it.
And then it's basically focusing on Peter's origins. Hassan Thames is reprising his role as Peter Parker from the What If animated series. Coleman Domingo is going to be playing Norman Osborn in here as the voice in the series there. Charlie Cox is coming back as Daredevil in here too. And then there's a whole bunch of stuff, like Doctor Strange is in here.
There's Dr. so many characters.
All these variations of the Spider-Man suit are in there too, which I think is why they changed the title, because I think originally it was meant to, like this is Tom Holland's Spider-Man before he meets Tony Stark. Doing this is probably a better idea, because then that way they can just do whatever the hell they want. They don't have to be constrained into can't do this because he wouldn't have done that yet. You can only have this suit because he hasn't done that yet. You can't meet this person because he hasn't met that person yet. So like this, it's just basically another variant of that Tom Holland version of Spider-Man from a different universe, which it'd be cool, because I mean maybe they already planned to work this in. Maybe this version shows up in the Beyond the Spider-Verse sequel that'll come out eventually, I'm sure, because like it wasn't in this one, but we already saw that it can interact with Donald Glover from Homecoming, or just a variant of the Uncle Aaron from Homecoming. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that, just because more Spider-Man animated series. I'm always excited for more Spider-Man.
I just don't know if you can get enough. If I can get enough, I'm with you. I love Spider-Man stuff so much, so I'm really looking forward to this. Yeah. Did they give a release date, Mark? Is this coming? Is this 2025?
Let me check.
I don't know. And again, I wasn't in the panel, so I needed to go out on YouTube. I'm sure some people filmed it, but
oh yeah, there's a good art image out there too that shows like all of these characters and variations of the.
Cool. Okay.
It just says 2024, which I don't know if I believe that.
If it's that, yeah, if it's like a surprise, it's maybe late this fall or something. Who knows? But
yeah, It just says it says on Disney Plus in 2024.
Okay.
It says November 2nd.
Wow, that'd be awesome.
So that's cool.
Let's hope.
That's like
2 or 3 months.
2 or 3 months. That's cool with me.
Me
and then
too.
The next one is Eyes of Wakanda, which is an animated series which focuses on the Black Panther and Wakanda universe, exploring various characters and their stories within Wakanda. Ryan Coogler, storyboard artist Todd Harris are involved in it, and I saw, or I couldn't, like the art style. It's very specific art style, like where it looks a lot different. Let's see. Than like What If, or even it's like this hyper stylized animation. I'm trying to find it because it's got like a very specific. I don't know, I can't think of like what it's like I don't know, but it's like it's supposed to be like very reminiscent of like African art and cultures and like that artistic style.
Okay.
But done in animation. Like I want to say there was, I don't know, I can't find it anywhere, but it seems like this could be pretty interesting as well too. They didn't really give too much, like on what, like outside of like those base concepts of like what the show, like art style and whatnot.
Yeah.
But it seems like it's also going to be like like go. Like how the first Black Panther gave us like the backstory of like the vibranium kind of meteor, like hitting Wakanda and whatnot. It seems like this is kind of going to be doing like that same kind of thing where it's like these, not necessarily like all modern day stuff with Wakanda.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a thing where it goes back into like the past and explains like maybe T'Chaka or like T'Chaka's father, or like all the way back to like the first very 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 first Black Panther. Well, just kind of building on and expounding on like the lore and stuff of the characters that we've already seen.
That sounds really interesting.
Yeah. And I wonder if this is where it goes to, is like we have Ironheart, you have Daredevil Born Again, you have Agatha All Along, as far as live action series coming out. And outside of that, I don't think they've said anything about any other live action series. So I've seen some other people speculating, is it just going to be Marvel Animation heavy going forward? But it doesn't seem like they'd create like an entire banner for Marvel Television to then
like abandon it, right? Or just not have any.
Yeah. Oh, then also the thing was Iron Fist is going to show up in this show too.
Okay.
So that should be interesting. I don't know if that Iron Fist is going to look like Finn Jones, or if it's just going to be an Iron Fist in a full costume, voiced by Finn Jones.
Yeah. Right. All these things. We have all these questions.
Yeah, but it's all really exciting stuff. I'm looking forward to all this. I like that Marvel has its own animation banner.
Yeah, and then they're like doing stuff. I mean, they've got a really great slate. I'm excited.
Yeah, these all have like their own like unique art styles to them too. Like the zombies one is going to look inherently like a bit like What If, just because
What If,
sure, sequel spinoff of What If, so it kind of has to stay within that. But I like that it's also going to be TVMA, so it's going to have a chance to be
but it's going to be just a lot more just for adults,
Yeah, think about Invincible and the blood and gore that you can see in that. I'm assuming that's what's gonna. Or if
Yeah.
anyone's seen Deadpool and Wolverine, think about that, but in Marvel Zombies animated series.
Right, this animated show. Yeah.
Just remember this, and think about what that would look like in animation. That's what I'll just say. If you saw Deadpool and Wolverine and you remember this hand motion, you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Especially if you like cinnamon rings. From there, I'm just gonna briefly touch on Lucasfilm because they don't really have.
They didn't show any animation in the the Disney Entertainment Showcase, but the stuff they showed cool stuff coming up from Lucasfilm.
That basically with this, we'll just tell people to check out Rebuild the Galaxy, the Lego special that's gonna be coming. Dark Jar Jar.
Yep.
So
that's September. I think we discussed, right, Mark? Isn't that when that?
Yeah, because they're trying to get it out before like the holiday, the Halloween spooky season of September, October. Well, for Disney, Halloween starts in August, so
it started this week, didn't it?
Yeah. So I mean, it kind of I guess starts everywhere because pumpkin spice is now on the menu.
Pumpkin spice. Holy cow!
Let the spice flow. But so that'll bring us to our last kind of area, which is the Disney parks, which are always exciting. And I guess before we go to the Pixar stuff, just keeping the Marvel area really quick, and then just go back up to Pixar and other places, is that we got more info on the Avengers Campus expansion. So it seems like they're finally going to make that.
E-ticket. Yeah.
Was it Infinity?
Oh, what's it called? Affinity Defense or something like that.
Yeah, Infinity Defense.
Yeah.
Which is going to have this Spider-Man, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man animated character in it. Because if you remember that concept art they released, I think last D23, that had King Thanos in it.
Yeah.
It had like Moon Knight in there. It had She-Hulk. It had Man-Thing, Werewolf by Night. It had like 3 different versions of Thor. Had Captain America, Captain America Steve Rogers, Captain America Sam Wilson, Captain Carter, and then I think it had Tom Holland Spider-Man. It had your friendly neighborhood animated Spider-Man, and then I think it had like 2 or 3 versions of the Hulk in there, besides She-Hulk and Bruce Banner Hulk. I'm sure they'll probably add a certain Harrison Ford Red Hulk.
Exactly.
In there now too.
Well, and one of the cool things they were talking about this is that it's going to be very screen heavy attraction, right? I mean, you're going to be in a vehicle, but ride vehicle, but there's going to be potentially a lot of variation. Every time you ride it, there could be different characters that appear or different things that happen, which it sounds really fun.
Yeah, it seems like it's similar to the Spider-Man Web Slinger ride, where you're in that kind of a thing.
Yeah,
but it also seems like from what I can tell, it seems like it's going to be a mix of that. To if anyone's ever been on like Forbidden Journey, the Harry Potter ride, to like the Remy ride, or it's like on like that free, or like Rise of Resistance is like that too.
Yeah,
where I'm hoping it's kind of as like of immersive as an experience as the Rise of Resistance thing is. Ride is.
Too. Yeah,
which kind of feels like 3 different rides.
Because it kind of is, right?
You get into one, and then you get in another, and then you get into a different.
That's the most remarkable ride. Yeah, I love it.
Which is why it breaks down all the time, because it's got all those moving parts.
Yeah, because there's so many things. Yep. Yeah, exactly.
But and then they have that other one that's like the. Speaking of Forbidden Journey, where like you're on that thing where it's just an arm that like.
Yeah.
There's like that Iron Man
it's
ride.
Like the Tony Stark, some kind of like lab, and I can't remember the name of that attraction, but
Yeah, I think it's like a flight simulator.
Yeah,
that
and it looks like you just
Robert Downey
going to get thrown around in that contraption, which looks.
So what do you want to do? Is you want to go to Pim's Kitchen first?
Yeah, just chow down.
Yeah, eat all the soft pretzels,
eat all the things,
all the meatballs, and then immediately
go
across
jet
and then
on that arm, whatever that arm attraction is called. But they got Robert Downey Jr. to come
I think
back.
That was him asking to do it too.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, they just announced that he was there rather than like they had to go through all these negotiations, whatever they didn't say. Yeah. But
so I wonder if when he did that, if he like did a bunch of voice recordings for the masked Iron Man that's walking around. Which
then
you're really gonna confuse kids. Be like, oh wait,
right.
Now what happens when they get a Doctor Doom that walks around Avengers Campus? Are they going to have Doctor Doom talk to Iron Man?
That's where our minds, explode. We need clarification.
Find out.
We'll be finding out.
But yeah, so from there, scroll back up to our Pixar lands that are being expanded upon and built upon in different places. So the first one is Monsters Inc. land at Disney Studios. Speaking of roller coasters,
it's their first suspended roller coaster that they've built at a Disney park.
Yeah. Also, I like that this cut off Mike's head in the picture. So
I do too. Well, and Billy Crystal was there.
He was there,
which was so cool.
He sang it too.
Yeah, it was really a delight.
He did like a variation on "If I Want to Be Nothing If I Didn't Have You."
Yeah, so charming.
This looks cool though. Like,
I think so too. It looks tremendous. And this has been rumored for years.
Yeah,
people
are curious about where they're gonna build this.
Yeah, that's now the big debate. It's like where's Disney going to put it, and what are they going to remove? To where to put it in there. But for sure, it's going into Disney's Hollywood Studios park, right?
Yeah, that, and we'll talk about this in a second too when we talk about the Pandora kind of expansion at California Adventure. Is that it seems like I guess we can kind of talk about this sometimes. Like, it seems like Pandora is going to be built in kind of like that Hollywood backstage area.
That's definitely one of the candidates, right? Of what
that's the biggest area that really doesn't have much going on there, other than like the big Avengers store, which I don't think is over there now because now they put it actually over in Avengers Campus, and they have like photo opportunities over there, and like all that area be to the left of Hyperion Studio, and like back there, and that's where that Monsters Inc.
They have that dark ride is. Yeah.
So I've seen people speculating that they're going to basically repurpose a lot of the props and stuff from that ride and put them within the Monsters Inc. Yeah, in the Monsters Inc. land at Hollywood Studios in Florida.
Interesting.
So that it's not just like cost, which. It could be interesting. It'd be a fun thing to see if they just lifted the ride and then placed it in Florida. It's just the same ride. just put, because I mean, you could keep that ride.
That's true.
That's a fun, just like
that's slow. It's a classic dark ride, Yeah.
That seems like that's where the Pandora stuff's gonna go.
If I were a betting man, Mark, I would say that the Pandora stuff's going to go over in one of those Disneyland forward expansion pads.
I see that too. I've seen people speculating that though, just because the one part of the concept image kind of lines up with where those like hangar looking like buildings are in California Adventure.
Sure.
Like if you lay
I mean, anywhere it goes is going to be great, but But I just the concept art looks so massive. Just seems like they're going to need a bigger footprint.
In the symbol lot.
In my estimate, the symbol lot is where I again, if I were a betting man, that's where I'd say it's going to go. But again,
that makes sense too, because then it feels like that needs to be its own. Like it feels like Pandora is going to be similar to Galaxy's Edge,
like Galaxy's Edge,
where it needs that big of a footprint.
Yeah. And I don't know how they're going to get people to and from the Symbolot, from the from the park, if it's going to go under the under the road or
if they have like a walkway.
It just seems like there's enough real estate over there, But still, either way, hello. Anything's better than what they've got.
Well, I figure they might end up doing something like when they do that expansion road, that road just doesn't exist over there anymore.
Oh, good point. Yeah.
Or if it does, it's like just a walkway now.
Right
because then they'd have the hotel would be over there too.
The Pixar Place Hotel.
Interesting.
So fun. It's going to be so much fun.
Do people like Avatar that much? As much as Star Wars?
I don't, it's so weird to me because it doesn't.
Do people even like Star Wars? Because the internet would have you believe that they don't.
Yeah, right. It's a good point. Avatar, I don't know if it necessarily has the avid fans, but those movies make so much money, and the movies are cool. And that Avatar area, at Disney's Animal Kingdom and Walt Disney World is impressive.
Yeah, I'd eventually like to check that out.
Yeah, I think you'd definitely like it more. So
although I've heard that Disney World closes pretty early in the day.
That's a challenge with that park in particular,
which is weird
because there's all those animals. It's a zoo.
Well, it's just only weird because they have the whole night, like part of the Pandora there. You can only experience at night.
Yeah, with all the bioluminescent stuff, they've got all this glow in the dark paint.
What
stuff,
if you close before? That even turns on.
Yeah, I was there. I don't know. Yeah, I've seen it at night too, and I can't remember why it was open late. If it was like a special reason or something, I don't remember. But I'm with you.
Seems like they could just close the zoo part.
Yeah, and just let people into Avatar.
Yeah, I don't know. But so we have the Monsters Inc. land,
which is I'm so stoked for that.
Yeah, they're basically building an immersive monstropolis. So that should be cool. And then so you have the roller coaster we talked about there. I think that they could just port the dark ride too and fit it there. But the other thing that they have going on is that they are going to have a Coco ride at Disney.
Disney California Adventure,
and it's a boat ride too.
Yeah, which looks so fun. I'm so happy about that. And I think what a perfect addition to California Adventure as well. I'm really happy about that. Again, same thing. Like, where is it going?
That one I'm curious, where that fits in. It feels like they'd want to keep it somewhere near all the Pixar Pier stuff.
Yeah, is it gonna go somewhere? Yeah, there's a way to fit it in, kind of back there at Pixar Pier.
Because it's not exactly like a super fluid from Cars Land to Pixar Pier, because you kind of have San Francisco there in the middle.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I know when around Dia de los Muertos and Halloween, they've had the Coco kind of wooden puppet over near the swings.
That kind of food area over by the swings and
so I don't know if they repurpose
that garden area, whatever they call that, paradise
garden area. Maybe they build it over there.
Yeah,
just kind of not right next to, but because there's the Inside Out emotional whirlwind over that's built in the rib cage of the Incredicoaster.
Yeah.
So it could maybe be somewhere over that area, and then that way you have all a bunch of Coco stuff next to one another.
Yeah. Because I've wondered, I know that there's some roads and clear service areas behind. Yeah, clearly behind Pixar Pier, but how much space is there for a show building and
Yeah, and there's supposed to be an Encanto like experience that's going to be coming there too, which I think that one.
So the Encanto, and then also the big Encanto ride that they're building at Walt Disney World too.
Yeah,
which they didn't give a lot of specifics, but they're going to have like the house, the family's house, and you're going to go in and there's a ride, which looks.
Now,
if
they hadn't just repurposed the Tarzan Swiss Family Robinson treehouse back to Swiss Family Robinson,
it could have been Antonio's.
They could have made that Encanto.
Yeah.
Because at Disneyland, I don't remember what the name of that restaurant is, but like where Doritos were invented.
Oh yeah, Rancho del Zocalo.
Yeah, Rancho. That's where they had the Maribel meet and greet there. And
oh, like perfect. Yeah, okay.
So I don't know if they would do Encanto experiences over there, or if maybe they'd keep it. Because this didn't say if Encanto was at Disneyland or if it was at California.
Well, yeah, and I know for sure, Mark, because I was in the room, but they announced an Encanto attraction at Disney's Animal Kingdom.
Okay.
So where literally they showed the house and they showed concept art where you're gonna like ride through the house.
Animal Kingdom. I guess that makes sense with the.
It's going in that Dino Land area that they're turning into. They're calling it the Tropical Americas Land now. That's what it's turning. So Dino Land is going away, and then that dinosaur ride,
Countdown to Extinction, indeed,
is exactly. Truly, it's there. That's going to be an Indiana Jones attraction because since it's truly based on the Indiana Jones ride at Disneyland, just the same ride vehicle,
repurpose the repurpose.
Yeah. But they're putting a new exterior. I mean, they show some concept art. It's gonna have. I know this isn't necessarily an animation thing, but they're gonna have it's gonna be set in somewhere in South America. There's like a temple, and Indy's gonna fight some kind of crazy thing inside of it. So
that'll be good. That Florida will have a Indy ride.
Yeah, and the Encanto ride, it looks fun. It's gonna be set around the time I think Antonio gets his powers to talk to the animals. So they showed.
Yeah, I was gonna say that makes sense if it's gonna be an Animal Kingdom, that it would be Antonio from Encanto, that it focuses on that.
They didn't give any real specifics. Like we don't know what kind of ride vehicle or what. But anyway, looks cool.
Yeah. That could be interesting. It feels like you could just walk through. Like it's a thing where you're like opening a bunch of doors.
Right.
That'd be a very germy ride. Then if you're,
I know, need the Purell all over.
I'm sure they'll figure something out. Like maybe you're like riding some kind of animal thing, or
yeah.
Maybe the ride vehicle is Bruno's back.
See,
7 foot tall, and then you're the rats upon his back.
And you can't talk about it. Yeah, you just can't talk about it. The first rule of the Encanto ride.
I was somewhere recently where I drove by a Bruno road, and I said to people I was driving the road, and I said, I guess we can't talk about that road. And they were just like, what?
They're like, what are you talking about?
And I was like, nothing.
Like, yeah, I guess you haven't seen this movie.
Yeah. That's
one other ride can we talk about just briefly is that there's going to be a Lion King ride, the first Lion King ride that Disney's ever done.
Paris, right?
In Paris, in one of the Paris parks, and they showed just a couple pieces of concept art, or maybe even just one, but I'm calling it Lion King Splash Mountain because they've got Pride Rock
log flume.
Yeah, they got Pride Rock, and then this kind of flume drop coming out on the side of it, not off the
Simba's Bayou.
The Simba's Bayou adventure. Yeah. So anyway, but cool. The thing is they in the announcement they said it's going to be based on the 1994 Walt Disney Animation Studios film. But then the concept art that they showed, the animals looked like yes. Now we're talking. That's the one. But the concept art looked like the
John Favreau
from the CGI one. Like, so let us hope. But anyway, but still cool that they're getting along, and and they're also getting a big. I mean, it's already been announced because it's under construction, but they're getting a big Frozen area too over in Paris.
Oh yeah, doesn't it? I think was that Shanghai as well, or is
Hong Kong has.
I knew it was one of
has a big one of those
Asian Disney parks.
Hong Kong Disneyland opened up last year a big Frozen area, which looks beautiful. I there's some cool videos of Josh Gad going there. Marc didn't you do some of that stuff for the Disney parks, social media stuff? Yeah,
I saw like one of the animatronics they had for Anna.
Oh
like,
yeah,
some of those are crazy. Like because I know the ride at Epcot is like a rear projected,
right, where they actually did a phase. They had an Elsa at the D23 Expo.
I think that's what I saw.
Yeah, and it's impressive. It's so much better than the projected face, I think.
I
was
just gonna say we didn't really talk about these, but I saw that they also announced a Broadway version of the adaptation of Hercules.
Yeah, that's going. That's going to the West End, I think. And then also seemed like they were doing one on one of the cruise ships. I think they mentioned something about that.
And also we talked about Lin-Manuel Miranda. Famously, Hamilton came to Disney Plus. They filmed a version of the stage musical. Frozen filmed version of the stage.
Oh yeah,
it's going to be on Disney Plus.
It's going to be on Disney Plus.
As soon as they did that with Hamilton, I was like, they need to just do this as a thing for musicals, and that are on Broadway, and you can sell them on physical media too, because not everyone is going to get chances to go to the West End or to Broadway, but they want to see these.
Yeah, I hear you.
You film either the last original cast show or the first original cast show.
Yeah.
And then you can have all that. That's almost like passive income.
Right. Oh, I know. Seriously.
And they get so much more people to watch it.
To see these shows. Yeah. Marc, I forgot one other thing about Frozen, again, if I'm not mistaken. So clearly there's that world of, I think they call it World of Frozen or something, but they're in Hong Kong Disneyland, but also at the Tokyo Disney Sea Park, they open up that Fantasy Springs area, it's called, and there's a Peter Pan area, a Tangled area, and a Frozen. There's another Frozen ride in that, and I think same thing. They're using those impressive animatronics of the Frozen characters there in Tokyo Disney Sea too. So yeah,
nice. All right. Was there anything else that you remember from D23 before we wrap up?
Yeah, Marc, one of the favorite things. So as much as I rag on Wish, my favorite thing that Disney Animation Studios did to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the studios was that short Once Upon a Studio that you can see on Disney Plus, and also it's on YouTube on the Disney Animation channel on YouTube.
And it was originally supposed to be in front of Wish.
In front of Wish, yeah. Then they changed their mind, but they had a panel. So on the show floor, Disney and Pixar shared like a mini stage where
like an animation stage.
Yes, and it fit maybe there was no seating in it. You just would kind of either stand or sit on the floor. But I caught a presentation with Eric Goldberg and one of the directors of Once Upon a Studio, and they talked about the making. And they talked about the making. They gave an hour presentation about it, and it was tremendous. Just because just talking about. They talked about everything, just how the idea came about, and there's some little mini documentaries about it. I think both on Disney Plus and on YouTube that I would highly recommend watching if you were a fan of the short. And then they just talk about the complexity and bring it all together. Eric Goldberg, who's just an animation legend, who did a lot of the hand drawn characters that were in the short. Again, it was cool because it was both sentimental but also like really techie. For animation fans, that one I wish that someone had filmed. Maybe they did, and it's out on YouTube. But it was a Once Upon a Studio recap. Was super cool. That was one of my favorite things. And I literally just happened upon it because it wasn't necessarily like in a panel room or something where we're one of those rooms where like kind of those theaters that they had set up.
Yeah.
Presentation rooms. But anyway, awesome. And just again, such amazing, wonderful work from Disney Animation Studios. And that's where that's the one I thought that really hit the home run with the for the 100th anniversary of the studio.
Nice. Yeah, I talked to our friend Darren a bit about that, and I like hearing some like the behind the scenes stuff. Really, like how they had to shoot, like fly like a drone like through some of the hallways of like the studio there to get like the point of view shots of like Peter Pan and like other flying characters like flying through. He said that day was fun when they were filming that stuff because it was like everyone was able to get involved, and then they had like
it's like everybody was having fun at the studio trying to fit in their work on it with some of the other projects that they've got going on there. And then they talked about Bernie Manson, because he's at the very beginning of the film, and how lucky they were to be able to film him that, because he died.
I think he passed like maybe probably shortly after they filmed that.
Yeah, after they filmed it. And then so that was a real coup. And then also they just talked about the amazing experience of filming Richard Sherman, one of the Sherman brothers.
Him too in there.
Yeah, well, and so in that segment where Mickey Mouse talks to the picture of Walt Disney, the Feed the Bird song is playing in the background, right, on the piano. And that was a new recording of it that they had Richard Sherman do in Walt Disney's office on the piano that
nice.
That he played it on for for Walt. Anyway, so they were getting a little emotional, even talking about that. Nice. These filmmakers were, that just how special that was to be able to do that. And that I think is documented in a little mini documentary out on YouTube and on Disney Plus too. I don't know if you had a chance to see that, Mark, but it's worth it. It's short.
Oh yeah, I'll have to check that out.
It's cool. It's really cool. Yeah. So
nice.
that was really great. And again, one of the cool things of what stuff that they program at D23 for us Disney nerds.
Yeah. Nice. Very, very cool. So I think that'll do it for this episode of Animation Fascination. That's all about D23 Expo 2024, from the parks to the animation studios to the live action animation studios, to the Lucasfilm, to the Marvel, to the entire Disney umbrella. And if you want to hear us talk more about any Disney, Pixar, or any of that kind of animation in past episodes, you can go to animationfascination.net. And then if you want to hear us talk more specifically, way more in depth about the Star Wars related stuff from D23, you can check that out. Stanford was there too for
that was so much fun.
Holdopod.com. And then I will leave this episode on this before I do our sign off, because you reminded me with talking about Walt Disney. There's a Walt Disney animatronic that's being built in the Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln area.
They're going to have a rotating show. It'll be either the Walt Disney show or the Abraham Lincoln show. Yeah.
So I will ask people listening or watching this thoughts, and that's all I'm going to say. Just for engagement. I'm not going to tell you what our thoughts are, but that's all I'm going to ask.
So you know what, Mark, and we didn't cover all the Cars stuff at Magic Kingdom, but we can maybe do that another time. That's just for hitting me too, because that's an animated thing. But anyway,
R.I.P. Rivers of America.
I know. Maybe it's good we didn't talk about it.
Yeah, what do you guys think about that? Rivers of America.
I'd be interested to get.
Forget Paradise. Put up a parking lot. Anyways, your thoughts on Walt Disney Animatronic, your thoughts on Rivers of America at Disney World. Is Monsters Monstropolis going to take over Muppet Vision 3D? These cliffhangers and more to things that could
That's right.
to be things that you may have a tempered reaction to, or because this is internet, maybe you don't have a tempered reaction to.
There's no such thing.
Yeah. But for myself, I'm Marc Vibbert, and my buddy over here, Stanford Clark. I'm probably pointing the wrong way. I can never point the right way because it's mirrored.
Yes, it's mirrored. Yeah, you're good.
except Clark. Thank you guys for joining us for this episode of Animation Fascination. I chose this name. Thank you, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.